Hey guys, welcome to the Mile High Club. As you can see, we're not in our usual set today, but we've got a lovely Vegas backdrop because that's exactly where we are. We have got an incredible guest on today's podcast, and I'm so excited to introduce him. And we're going to cover a different range of topics, and it's going to be fun. It's Mr. Eric Worre. So, first podcast guest, Mr. Eric Worre.
First one ever?
First one ever.
No way.
We wanted it to be
you. It's going to go straight uphill from here.
I know.
It's going to get better and better.
I know.
We're starting at the bottom.
We put you on first.
We're
so
setting
that we
low
knew that. Yeah.
expectations. Fair enough.
What we've not done yet is told anybody or you the name of our podcast.
Okay, so what is it?
It's the Mile High Club, Eric.
The Mile High Club.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wow. I wonder what percentage of people in the world are members.
Well, funnily enough, our opening question for every guest, and I know you've got a plane, so I'm going to guess that the percentage of your yes to this is going to be pretty high.
Yeah,
So you're a member.
Are you a member?
For sure.
Because he's got a plane.
You have your own plane. I have my own bedroom in the plane.
A beautiful wife, of course he is.
What else is he
close
gonna
the
do?
door. Everything's good.
You were going to say.
It's I could imagine people on commercial airlines going into the bathroom. Yeah. And unless you're on Emirates or something, I don't see how that would work.
But still people join, but a little bit differently for somebody with an actual jet. I can imagine I'd definitely be
it's a cheat.
It's a cheat code.
It's a cheat code for sure.
If you didn't answer this, we were going to say a no is not a no. It's just a not right now.
Yeah. Well, eventually.
Eventually.
It would. If it wasn't, it would be.
So now we've broken the ice.
Yes.
Eric Worre.
Yes.
How did you get so rich?
Define rich. I don't know.
It's a good one.
It's like there's like lots of levels.
There are.
I'd say we're comfortable, slightly uncomfortable, slightly comfortable.
Uncomfortable how?
There's more we want to do.
Mm-hmm.
There's always
more. I described yesterday what a year looks like.
We're going to come on to that.
I'm going to get to that in a minute.
Yeah, so that's, that's another level type of a year. When you think about it, right? Mapping out your life. But one, through network marketing.
Mm-hmm.
Two, through teaching people how to be successful in network marketing. Three, through coaching companies on how to be more successful, building their organizations and building their companies. A small amount from investments, not nearly enough. There should have been way more.
Yeah.
But for most of my life, I ate all my income.
We spoke about this yesterday, and we laughed at this, didn't we? Because I think we might be in the eating our income stage.
You just make the money, eat it. Make the money, eat it. I mean, you just touch the money for half a second, and then it's already in somebody else's hands.
Yeah, I think it's hard when you've not had the money and all of a sudden the money is there and it's a lot of money. With our industry, especially, it comes fast.
Some of it's self-worth. For me, it was self-worth.
Yeah.
Not feeling like I was worthy of I was always able to make it, but I was always buying everybody dinner. I was always compensating in different ways.
This is a really sticky subject for us because you start and you've got a small, so we obviously do network marketing. You start, you've got a small team and you want to treat your team.
Yeah.
But where does it stop as the team grows?
And does it duplicate?
And does it duplicate?
It
exactly
doesn't,
that.
Because then you take care of the second level and third level and fourth level, and pretty soon you're taking care of everybody. And then tax time comes and you're like, I took care of all these people. I didn't save any receipts.
Is that not an expense?
Can
we not just expense all of this?
Yeah.
Like the answer is yes to this. Well, it's a sticky subject also, but just on that, I think something that I found is, did your friendship circles change very quickly? And did you feel like as you grew in wealth that had to stop a little bit as you left people behind that maybe weren't coming with you?
Well, pardon me. I don't believe in the concept of leaving people behind.
Mm-hmm.
People choose to stay.
Yep. Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely right.
You keep moving. Other people stop for whatever reason. And there's one of the hardest things about success, financial success, that people don't talk about is the separation anxiety that comes from it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if as a child or your children ever had separation anxiety. If they weren't next to you right that second, they would be freaking out.
I wish they had separation anxiety. Mine haven't called me once since I've been here.
You know,
but I get it.
Whatever,
I get it.
You know, at some point.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah,
you're in the other
as little
room.
ones.
Where's mom?
Yeah.
You know, that same thing happens with your circle of friends. You know, put it this way: if you're like a $10 an hour person, and you decide you're going to become a $20 an hour person, and you work and you strive and you get yourself to $20 an hour, some of the $10 an hour people are going to stay there and they're going to judge you for going to 20. And that doesn't say you shouldn't go to 20 if it's available. You should go. Some will come with you. And then you say, well, if 20 is available, I wonder if 40 is available. So you go to 40. Well, some of the 20s are going to stay. Some of the 10s are going to stay. And some of them are going to throw darts at you, and some of them are going to, you know, make fun of you.
We've had those.
Yeah.
Had a few darts stabbed in the back.
Some of them are going to, you know, roll their eyes and talk behind your back and you know, try to make you feel bad for doing what you should be doing. And if $40 an hour is enough, well, what about $100 an hour?
Mm-hmm. And this happens in network marketing as well, doesn't it?
It happens
with the
everywhere.
goalposts. Yeah.
It happens everywhere.
We see it so often, people coming in and saying, you know, I want to make a couple of hundreds of pounds a month, and suddenly that's done. And then they realize maybe we could make 1,000. And before we know it, we're getting into exponential growth and income from it. And that's one of the greatest things about our industry, I think.
Yeah, but at every level, there are some people that will choose to stay and not grow with you.
Yeah.
And they will judge you for growing.
100%.
And you have to be willing to accept that.
Yeah, definitely.
That's hard to accept at the beginning. I would like to say that it gets easier, but it doesn't.
The gap gets
Bigger.
Yeah, I'm going to a place currently that I've never been to, and it's going to make a lot of people uncomfortable. And I'm ready for whatever they're going to say. At some point, you have to like really get to the point where you don't give a shit.
Yeah.
What other people think.
Yeah, I do feel like we are, but a lot of friends were lost along the way. And it was because
they walked away.
Yeah, it was because of what you said. They weren't prepared to come on the growth journey. But as an entrepreneur and not just a network marketer, you have to get into a position where you just don't care.
Yep.
So the question that I wanted to ask is, because I always think about this quite often, you were a network marketer at one point, and I think loads of people always go, which company was it that you were with originally? So tell us a little bit about the early days and who Worre
First company
was then.
I was involved with this company called NSA, National Safety Associates. They sold water filters. So
it's the water.
Yeah.
The water
it's not the same ones. Not the same ones.
No, we're obsessed with the water people.
I know, but they're
obsessed with the water.
Completely different. But it was, I think it was prior to that. This was a long time ago. But that kind of panned out, and they converted the entire company to Juice Plus. And so what was NSA is now Juice Plus.
They did great gummy bears for kids.
Yeah.
I used to buy their gummy bears, like vitamin gummy bears. They were awesome.
Yeah, they have good products.
Yeah.
They've been around for a long time. So I started there. But back then it was like a front end load, what you've heard about, maybe if you've been around network marketing for a while. Back in the day, people would buy a lot of product.
Yep.
And they'd be, we would joke they'd be garage qualified.
That was me.
They'd have a garage full of stuff.
I had a garage.
Garage.
And you're supposed to, is it garage?
It's a garage. For us English people.
I understand. You guys invented the language.
You ruined it.
It's our fault. No problem. So in the garage, people would have a boatload of product that they were told that they were going to be able to sell and could have,
Yep.
but many times wouldn't. So when I joined, it was $5,000 to join.
$5,000.
And then it was $5,000 in new volume every month just to qualify to get a commission check.
Okay, so what was your turnover like of bringing people in at that amount of money? That's high ticket, right?
Massively. That's how
It
many
was
years
buying
ago?
40 filters for $5,000.
How many years ago was that?
Long time.
So $5,000 was even more
Huge.
than
It
$5,000.
was like 20,000 now.
Massive.
And you had to do that every
Insane.
month. Every month, or you didn't get a check.
Okay, so what changed? When did network marketing become a little bit?
Well, I think
cheaper?
network marketing realized
The
that's
average
not a
person
good model.
can't do that. Yeah.
And it got a reputation based upon that.
Mhm.
You know, it created volume. That company went from 0 to like 800 million really fast. And then went through a lot of difficult times and investigations and investigative reporters jumping out in front of the CEO at airports and
Sounds
That
exciting.
was juicy.
on
exciting.
television
We
and
missed,
stuff like that.
we missed our time.
Yeah, it was so they went from 800 million. I was just barely making six figures. I just made it to six figures. And they went from 800 million to 200 million in about 4 months.
Oh,
Imagine that type
Wow.
of a fall.
Yeah.
So my check went from 8,000 a month to like 2,000 a month.
that's a big drop.
Mhm.
Yeah. So there are people who stayed and, weathered the storm. I couldn't, I literally couldn't afford to.
Yeah.
So made a move to a different company. So I've been with a few companies over the course of my entire career, but that was the start for the first 3.5 years.
Mm-hmm.
So was the book the pivot into coaching?
No,
Or did that come after?
That came
For any of you
4
that
years after.
Don't know, Eric is the author of GoPro. If
Mhm.
you're in network marketing and have not read
Oh my
this
gosh.
book, what are you doing?
Right. So in 2008, I'm hearing about, social media is becoming a thing,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
right? So everybody's got a MySpace page. We talked about that.
I didn't have a MySpace.
Come on.
No, I missed this.
I'm going to try and find it and find what the song
I
was.
legit didn't have a MySpace page.
So I had a MySpace
Legit.
page. Everybody, most people had MySpace pages, but Facebook at the time was for students.
Yes.
And they had started with
Yeah.
college and then they went to high schools. And I started seeing it and I was going, you know what? I think this is going to be a thing. So I started asking around, who do you know that's really good at social? So I was asking my friends and everybody kept bringing up different names. Mark Zuckerberg, well, I'm not going to be able to get a hold of Mark Zuckerberg. But Gary Vaynerchuk's name came
Yes.
up. Gary V, a lot of people know who he is
Oh,
now.
Gary
He's
V.
very,
Yes.
very
He's
famous
great.
now.
Huge on social media,
But
Gary V.
Back then, he did a wine vlog. So
A
he,
wine vlog.
wine, yeah,
As in drinking wine.
yes.
Oh.
Interesting.
So his father had a wine store in New Jersey, and every day he would turn on a camera, very low quality,
Mm-hmm.
and it was called Wine Library TV, I believe, Wine Library TV, and he would basically take a wine and he would sample it, or maybe two of them would sample it, and he'd rate it, and he'd talk about the New York Jets, or he'd talk about something. Just this young kid, the son of a wine merchant, and he was getting like 80,000 views a day of people watching him
Drink wine. And
drinking
talk about
wine
stuff.
and spitting it into
Clearly in the wrong industry.
I know.
Alcohol is the way.
and spitting it into a New York Jets
It's
bucket,
It's a spitting bit. That was.
right? So I'm like, okay, if he's the guy, he's the guy.
Yeah.
So I call him up and got a hold of his people. Like he had people
He
now.
had people.
Yes, because he had been on Conan O'Brien.
People.
He was on a TV show. He was in like the New York Times. He was being written up.
Oh,
We
really?
clearly need people.
We do.
Yes, you
Is
need
that the
everybody
magic? Is
needs-
that the
everybody
secret
needs
sauce?
people. So I talked to somebody and said, how much for a couple hours of his time? So I ended up spending $10,000 for 2 hours of his time and flew out to New Jersey.
Hang on. You spent $10,000 for 2 hours of somebody's time.
Yeah, trying to see how much you'd have to pay for a couple hours
for
of
it
Gary's
now.
time now.
Yeah.
You'd spend a couple $100,000.
Mm-hmm.
So 2 hours of his
Yeah.
time for 10 grand. I sat down, brought a business advisor with me and said, you've done this with wine. I'd like to maybe do this with network marketing. Now, I was working in the field at the time. And I was just like, I think there's a need for this. I think there's a market for this. And I didn't have a business plan, and I certainly wasn't considering it as a business. I was just going to do it as a gift.
Yeah.
And just make videos and put them out there and let it be whatever it was going to be.
Which is actually how we started, I think. I didn't monetize off social
Yeah.
media for 5 years.
Yeah.
5 years.
And
So
that's how you build
valid,
trust.
yeah.
That's how you started
Yeah.
fast, right?
Yeah.
So the first year I did probably 250 videos, maybe in the first year. I bought a whole bunch of fancy video equipment that I never used.
So about one a day. That's pretty
Yeah.
solid.
Yeah. Like 3 minutes, 2 minutes, 5
Yeah.
minutes, maybe.
Social
Try and
media.
find some interesting background.
Like us.
Vegas.
Yeah. Like if
You
I was
don't know
back
how
in the
long-
day, I would probably find 20 locations on the strip that were different looking, and I would come up with some story or some lesson that I could think of, and I would talk about that lesson,
Yeah.
get in front of the fountains and talk about,
Yeah.
go make a splash in your business,
Oh,
blah,
I
blah, blah,
love
or
it.
whatever, just make something up. So I would do that and tried to find everybody in network marketing and get them connected. And they had Facebook groups at the time that were maxed at 5,000 people. That's the most you could have in a group. They didn't have pages. Your friends were maxed at 5,000. That's when
Yeah.
everybody was racing to get their 5,000.
Get their 5,000. Why was that a thing?
I don't know why it was a thing.
I feel like I've completely missed this era.
I know I was in
Where
that
did I
era.
come into this?
everybody had to
You
race
were
to get to their
asleep.
I've
5,000.
missed MySpace.
If you didn't have 5,000, you were like now I want to have less.
Oh my God, same. I'm like, follow
If
me,
I
don't
don't-
add me.
Yeah.
I don't want to be your friend.
Yeah.
I don't even answer my phone
Yeah,
anymore.
exactly. Sorry, but so I started, and for a year there was nothing to join, nothing to buy, but people were asking like crazy. So do you have something?
Yeah.
So I made an audio program. I recorded myself. I got a couple hundred people in a room. I got audio recording equipment, and I made a CD set.
You didn't miss CDs, right? You were definitely old enough for those.
I definitely had CDs. This is a bit where I come in. CDs, yeah.
I had a CD set,
I didn't.
which was called GoPro, GoPro Live.
Oh, so GoPro was from day dot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
my little tagline is, my wish for you is that you decide to become a network marketing professional, that you decide to go pro,
Yes.
because it's a
in
stone
the front
cold
of the
fact
book,
that we
isn't
have
it?
a better way. So that was how I closed every video. So I said, this was just GoPro Live, and it was 8 hours. I covered the 7 skills,
Yeah.
plus an intro, plus a close. And we put that on a CD set and we sold it for $179 or something like that. Sold a lot of them. I went, oh, that's kind of interesting.
There's something in there.
Now I was still building in the field. Okay.
Ah.
So it started to become, in the second year, I hosted an event that we called GoPro, which was 3 days. We had 200 people.
Which is an amazing event. Again, if you're in network marketing and you haven't bought a ticket, I think tickets are live now
They
for
are.
for the December one.
Yep.
We're going to post this.
We are
actually,
gonna
aren't we,
post
Rachel?
this.
Yeah, we are. So that you can
December
get in.
6th through the 8th this year. It'll be our 15th year that we've done
Wow.
it. But the first one, we had 200 people. I brought in some of my personal development friends, and we trained for 3 days, and it was great. Charged a couple $100, lost money probably
Mhm.
on the event, but it was fun. And the second year, it started to be a problem that I was building in the field.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I never, ever, because everybody was accusing me of building a list in order to be able to recruit their people and steal all their people. Now, I never, ever did that. However, people on my team had no problem signing somebody up.
Because they're plugging them into a proven system.
And
Your
say, hey,
authorities there, which is a bit
you want to get
what
Eric
we
Worre's
do.
training for free. You want to get Eric Worre's training for
Leverage,
free.
right?
Come sign up with me, and then you can get his training for free.
I mean, it's the best sales.
But it was bad
It is.
reputationally. It made it for me,
because you were
doing
still in
both.
the field. Yeah.
Because I was still in the field. People were accusing me of
Unfair advantage.
just being lacking in integrity and stealing their people.
Do you think it's still like that now? Do you think people would still look at it like that now? Because
With me?
No, in general, if people are going out there becoming a name for
100%.
themselves. Oh, we're
100%.
Oh, no.
Oh, dear.
100%. So I'm of the belief that there are some people that have had a generic business. I think it's okay to build a brand.
Yeah.
But I think if you monetize that brand,
You see a lot of people jumping over, and I've always been like,
I think you got to pick one side.
you have to, and I think that generally that's what people do, isn't it?
Yeah.
People do pick one side.
Because once I did go this way,
Yeah.
I told the whole world, I will never be a distributor for a company. I will never start a company because that was an accusation. I will never be an executive for a company. I will consult. I will train. I will coach. That's what I'll do. Okay. And that's what I've done for the last 15 years. But that didn't stop people from still being
saying,
cautious.
Yeah.
And I don't blame them. Nobody thought we could do what we did with the GoPro events.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest in-person event we had was 18,000 people.
That's incredible.
It was
How many were
crazy.
on last year? How many did you have on live? Is it about 50,000?
50,000, something like that.
I mean, 50,000 people.
But that most of those were online, right?
That was an
Yeah.
in-person.
So they weren't
Yeah.
sitting next to each other.
Yeah.
When we did it at
Still.
MGM Garden Arena, imagine the entire arena filled with network marketers sitting next to each other from other companies.
Amazing.
Can you though? Can you imagine?
Right? So
Oh,
it was
I'd love
super
to be in
fun.
that.
It was super fun. But everybody was like, how is that
It's
not
never
going to
been
be
done
like,
before.
it can't happen
Yeah.
because some people won't be able to help themselves and they're just going to try and recruit everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we had very strict rules. We had to kick some people out, for people were handing out business cards and putting stuff in the elevators and sliding things under the doors in the hotel and all those things.
Cheeky.
But nobody thought it was possible to put even the mastermind event that we do with,
Yeah.
30 companies or whatever, 40 companies in the same room together, that it just never been done. Everybody just kept to themselves.
segregated.
Yeah. And I understand that. And there's still some companies that are like, no, don't send anybody over to him because we don't want him to eat from the tree of good and evil.
Oh no.
For sure.
Oh,
for sure.
no.
There's some.
Yeah, I do think I can imagine
It's a safe play.
Yeah.
I don't judge them for it.
Yeah.
I mean, we just bought a lot of stuff yesterday, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
I mean, we bought one of everything. So what do you have?
Yeah, right?
I was like, oh, I'll have one of those. I mean,
Yeah.
I've got water machines.
Yeah, you
the
got
sh-
everything.
Yeah.
I've got crypto. What else have I bought?
It's the sharing of ideas though, and it's
Yeah.
such a safe space for us. But I know that the GoPro events are as well, and that
Yeah.
cross conversation that doesn't happen without this platform.
No.
Is
It
invaluable.
had never happened and nobody
It's
thought it could
genius.
happen and everybody questioned the intentions of it. Like, this is all a big part of a master plan. He's going to do all this. And after like 3-4 years, he's
gonna
going to start
recruit
his own
everyone.
company
Yeah.
and he's going to sign them all frontline to him. He's going to come up with the
It's not a
greatest
bad
idea.
Not a bad
ever.
idea.
And I'd immediately be the most hated person
Oh, yeah.
in the world.
You'd
by-
also
No,
be-
nobody could ever.
it'd be like
hate
getting
you,
into
Barry.
politics.
Yeah.
No, I think it's-
I'd be hated by half the world and loved by the other half.
I think it's genius. So,
So
moving-
anyway,
Oh, sorry.
GoPro, the book.
I feel like we need the book. Can you
yeah,
grab
sure.
the book? I feel like we need to have a little show of the book. It's like book club. So GoPro.
We
You
Yeah,
guys
so-
see that?
Yeah.
You see this?
Yeah, that's your camera.
There we go.
So GoPro, I wrote in 2013. So long time ago. I have like
We're waiting.
I know.
And can I
It's the
just
worst.
say, we need to fill these up on Amazon because we do book club and these were all sold out the other day.
Were they?
We need to like get these filled up again.
No, we'll get them filled up. We'll get you taken care of. There's been like 5 million of those sold that we know of.
5 million.
Way more than that are
whoa.
That are
Circulating
bootlegged
It is a mighty fine
in every
copies.
language. But it's just the playbook that I learned in my years of building in the field.
I love
It's
that
a
it's so
Bible.
simple.
It's the Bible.
Yeah.
You should have it in your bag.
Yeah.
I mean, everything that comes from the teachings comes from the 7 steps, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that blew everything up. Everything blew up after
from
that.
there.
Everybody wanted to have the GoPro guy come speak at their conference.
GoPro guy.
You know,
We'll be like the Mile High girls.
Probably.
Yeah.
Go.
that could go a lot of directions.
That could go in many different directions.
Clickbait, if nothing else.
Yeah, clickbait for sure. So speaking went up, viewership went up, attendance went up. Our events went from 200 to 400 to 800 to 2,400 to 4,000, 6,000, 12,000, 18,000.
Just kept going.
And we were settled into the MGM Garden Arena as our kind of like home base, where they do the big like concerts and boxing and things like that. And then pandemic hit, so we built a studio, and the studio can hold 400 people, and then we can broadcast to the world.
I have still not been to the studio.
Oh my gosh.
It's fantastic.
I shall be there in December.
So good.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. It's a $25 million piece of technology. It's pretty crazy.
Whoa.
Yeah. It is. It's really cool.
I'm super excited
You
about
should
coming.
be.
Yeah. It's not when you think of studio, it's not what you think of. It's a spaceship.
Yeah, it does.
Spaceship.
It is giving.
It makes our
futuristic
studio look
vibe.
a little bit sad, doesn't it? Our little
private
private jet with no engine. No, so you need to come on our private jet, Eric.
I think
Yeah.
you'd be massively underwhelmed.
Yeah.
We'll send you pictures.
I have to see pictures.
It has a
It's got a cardboard engine in it.
A cardboard engine. Are
We're
you-
going to upgrade it eventually, but for now.
to one that's just not.
Is this where you go take social media pictures
No,
inside?
this is going to be our studio. This is our Mile
We're
High
filming
studio.
from it.
Oh,
We've
you're
got a film
building
set. It's an actual film. No, it's a film
of like
set.
inside of
We
a
did
jet.
discuss building
We
one
could
at
have
your
done.
house.
We should have done this in our jet.
We should have done
Our
it in the
jet's
jet.
town.
We can
I
do
mean,
one on the way to the...
to Cabo.
To Cabo, yeah.
We'll do
it
it in
Cabo.
Cabo. Can we have a little setup?
Yeah.
So, Eric,
Yes.
you are the guru.
Well, some
Well,
say.
Well, we
We
will
say.
say. We'll say.
We
You're the
say.
guru. The 10-second rule.
Yes.
Do you... Right. Everybody can do network marketing, but can everybody do network marketing?
What do you mean by a
10-second rule? Within 10 seconds of speaking to somebody, can you tell whether they will be a rock star or not? Now, I say this because I have a feeling that I can.
I don't think I
You
can.
don't think you can. So your critical conversation, within a couple of minutes of speaking to somebody, do you think you can tell if they have what it takes? And what does it take? What are the qualities it takes?
I can tell if I like them
Well,
in 10 seconds.
I can usually tell way
don't-
before.
you don't have to like,
it's like 3
everybody.
seconds.
I'm like,
Well, straight away, I was like, not you.
Like three-
Not you. You're not the one.
3 seconds.
What happens if
I
you
can
don't
tell if I like
him?
them, but I've been fooled too many times.
I have. See, I haven't.
There's some people that are very, very quiet, but there's a lion inside. You
Yep.
just don't see it.
Mm-hmm.
And they're too afraid to show it.
Do you think network marketing can be taught, like from nothing, like really taught? Or do you think you have to have something within you first? There's a quality that you
I think we
need.
all have it inside
Something,
of us.
yeah.
Most of it have it
Yeah.
beaten out of us
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
by the time we're
hard
about
way.
30.
Be more 3.
Yes.
It's a training I do.
Yeah. there
When
you
we're
go.
born, we're 3. When we're 3, we have it's a training that I do, and it's like we're fearless and we'll set ourselves at any table.
Yep.
And we think we're going to be astronauts and princesses and scientists. And then over time, you're told, actually, you're not going to be that. People like you aren't princesses.
Yep.
People like you aren't astronauts.
Yeah.
And you get it ripped out of you.
Mhm.
We've got to go back and be more 3.
Yeah, we do.
Yep.
And one of the things that you say, and I didn't know until I got into the industry, is network marketing is the better way. Now,
I love that saying. Network marketing's the better way.
I do, and I duplicate it because it really, really is. But coming from corporate, nobody even told me about network marketing.
Well, look, network marketing has a reputation and a bad reputation in some circles, deservedly so.
Going back to what you said before, I think, it's been tarnished with a bit of a brush in some cases.
And like I said, deservedly so. The model's fine.
Yeah.
The business is fine. The model is fine. It's very simple. On one side, you have a consumer who wants a product or service or needs a product or service. The other side is you have a company that provides that product or service. And in between, you have a distributor who educates, demonstrates, provides word of mouth, advertising, tells stories, builds connection, builds belief, and sees if they can be a matchmaker to connect that consumer to that product.
I like that, the matchmaker.
And if they do, then they can make a commission every time they buy.
I mean, it's simple.
That's the sales piece. Then, second part is, can you build a team of people doing that? Third is, can you duplicate that process so it'll grow when you're not involved? And fourth, can you lead those people so they're more productive?
I love that, when you're not involved. It's like music to my ears. When you're not. when does this?
That's the hard part.
Which basically
I struggled with on the duplication side. But back to the reputation thing.
Yeah.
The reason why network marketing has a reputation is what we do is very simple, and it serves a great purpose, and it works. It's trusted. It does $200 billion a year in revenue.
I know.
But it's overhyped. The products, when the person stands in between, they overhype the product. They say it does more than it actually does.
They do say that.
We actually, or they say how
does.
easy it is.
Yeah.
Like everybody's winning. And this is super easy. And network marketing is the opposite of easy. It's not easy. It's very difficult. You have to deal with the judgment of others. You have to deal with doing it by yourself, the loneliness of it. You have to deal with people, babysitting people. You have to deal with managing yourself, employing yourself, all kinds of things. So they say it's easy. They say it's fast. They say they overhype the product. They overhype the business. They overhype the money. So they overhype all these things. And when a person gets involved thinking that they're joining the lottery and they don't have to sell anything and they're magically going to just make a lot of money by getting involved, they talk to 3 people, it doesn't work. Then they rip it up and tell everybody that it's a scam.
It doesn't work.
It's a big scam.
Yeah.
We see it so often, don't we? And unfortunately, it is that people don't give it enough time and aren't consistent enough.
Well, it's not that really.
No,
it's sold that way. That you hardly have to give it any time, and you hardly have to work at all. And you.
But were we sold it that way though?
I'm not saying you do. I'm just saying the profession,
the industry,
the profession itself oversells the simplicity and how easy it is. It's like a lottery ticket. It's like a magical carpet ride.
Yeah.
Come on in. Everybody's going to get rich. All you got to do is talk to a couple of people. The product sells itself.
All you have to do is talk to a couple of people.
Right.
So they do. They just talk to a couple of people.
And I'll help you and all that stuff. So the expectations are set so high that when a person comes in, it can't live up to those expectations. So it's opposite. If you start a McDonald's franchise, you're going to spend 7 figures. To be able to make $120,000 a year.
We've got to change the narrative. We've got to start under promising and over delivering.
Yeah.
It's that. We've got to change the narrative.
It's more credible if you say, look, this is really hard, but it's worth it.
But it's worth it.
It is.
And it is worth it.
Oh my God, it's so worth it. And it's something that I've definitely changed in the last couple of years, because going back to what you've just said, I think that we probably were sold it wrong in the sense of come in and do this and you'll retire. And look, we have done that and we have retired in a sense
tick box
from normal life. We'll come on to that in a minute. And now I've started to change my tune, because it isn't possible for people to come in and have an overnight success, and nothing is it?
No,
nothing's sustainable, nothing worth keeping.
Here's the weird catch. There's like 4 stages 0 to 100,000 a year is stage 1. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And that's defined by just grit,
Yeah.
determination,
Gotta
hard
work your
work,
ass off.
Mm-hmm.
work your ass off. You have to do everything.
Yeah. And nobody does anything.
Nobody
with you at
else
that
does
point.
anything.
No thanks, no
No
applause, no
duplication,
recognition.
no nothing. It's just
you.
it's just pain.
Yeah.
And then 100 to 250, duplication starts to show
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
Then 250 to a million, then that's kind of defined by being a good promoter. If you learn how to be an excellent promoter, and then at a million plus, it's all about leadership development. So we're selling lifestyle, we're selling time freedom and financial freedom, right?
Mm-hmm.
And from 0 to 100,000, you
There's
don't get any.
No, it doesn't exist.
I mean, I still
So
where is this freedom they promised me? Where is it?
So people think it's a lie. You know, you promised me this and I didn't get it.
Yeah.
Right. And the truth is you have to pay your dues. I mean, there's a low price of
earn
entry,
it.
but you've got to earn that
Mhm.
time freedom and that financial freedom.
Yeah.
And that comes after stage 1.
Yeah.
It begins after stage 1. Right. And you have, you know, that you're joking that like, where's your freedom? You already have it.
Yeah,
If
we do.
you stop working, you will have a residual income that will come from your business for not forever. It will diminish if you're not involved at all, but it will keep coming and keep coming and keep coming and keep coming for a long time.
A very long time. I mean, I could walk away tomorrow if I wanted
Yeah.
to.
So if you
The
wanted
reality
to,
is-
but the reason why you're still on the treadmill is because you want more.
It's not enough. It's never enough.
Yeah.
I do want more. I want more.
You got to get rid of that cardboard airplane.
Yeah, and swap it in for a real one.
Once upon a day, it was. Hang on. Once upon a
It's a
day,
real
it was a
plane.
real plane.
Yes.
They just took the engine out and made it into a film set. Sold it to people like, hang on, Mission Impossible was filmed on that plane.
Yes. They told us that the other day.
Yeah.
They might have been lying.
It's
but-
like a graveyard of all
Old
types of
planes.
planes. You
Yeah.
name it, there's a plane, and they just use them for filming.
Well,
And
there you
we've
go.
just bagged ourselves one with a cardboard engine.
I love it.
Looks the part inside though.
We look the part inside.
We do. We really did.
Does it have the white seats? Is that the one I saw
Yeah.
on social?
It looked
Yeah.
real, right? Don't tell me it didn't.
It
It
looked
was
it did look
real.
Just doesn't get, and then they
It just
came
can't
out.
go anywhere.
Some dude had to get his helicopter out.
Yeah.
No, we just got to move the plane.
But they dragged it about while we were
dragged it
filming in it.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, yeah.
But it's a good set though.
Yeah.
It's a great set.
Yeah, good idea.
It's a great set. So now we're going to get down and dirty.
Okay. Hit it.
In your phone book right now, he doesn't like this one already.
The eyes.
Who is the most famous person in there?
I don't know if I could tell you.
Well,
You can go no comment, but give us a less famous one if you choose to do that.
Oh man.
or just because it was anybody who's famous.
Because I've heard you say a lot of names.
He drops them in, doesn't he? He drops in Magic Johnson.
Oh yeah.
I was just having a little wander. Christina Aguilera is my neighbour.
I haven't met her. Mark Wahlberg, maybe?
Oh.
Oh, okay.
What you want to call Mark?
Well, you teach this.
That's your warm network.
That's your
so
warm network.
We can tap into him and you can invite him onto our podcast, and then we've recruited through instead of two.
So-
No, I
let's-
got to get him on mine first.
Do a
Okay.
lesson of recruiting through.
I'm trying to get him over to my studio. It's driving me crazy.
We'll
He's
gate
so
crush it.
busy.
I can
He
imagine.
has like 14
You're
businesses.
giving me loads of like objections here as to why you shouldn't pick up the phone and invite him.
I know.
I'm
Sorry.
feeling
I'm
objections.
sorry. Sorry. I mean, you wanted a name.
We'll take Mark.
I gave you a name.
Wahlberg. It was
He's-
a
he's
good
a lovely
name,
guy.
to be
Right,
fair.
tell him, message him and say, I'm on a podcast. The girls want you on it. This is the pinnacle.
Here, let me take a picture. Okay. I'll send that to him.
Send that later and report back.
I feel like
We
he's
needed
just
to do
swerved us.
Yeah.
I did.
He's going to throw darts at him when he gets upstairs.
He lives just down the street.
We learned from the best.
We did.
Yeah,
Recruit through.
exactly.
Recruiting through.
Exactly.
So,
You can reach anybody nowadays.
You can. It's the is it called 7 degrees of separation?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you're basically
If
a
you want
Kardashian.
to,
I am.
if you want to, you can connect to anybody.
I've worked this out through network marketing, funnily enough.
Yeah.
A conversation
Yeah.
goes a long way.
So yesterday we spoke about saying yes and working out how to do it.
Uh-huh.
So my question is, what is the craziest thing you've ever done in the name of network marketing or business that you've said yes to and had to work out along the
Studio.
way? The
The
studio.
studio.
Yeah, you
By
mentioned the
far.
price before.
I mean,
and was like,
25 million.
Yeah.
That's
And we
even
didn't
more
have
than
it.
the plane.
what do you mean he didn't have it?
Didn't have it.
How did you get it?
Well,
He worked it out.
we thought it was 20 million to build and then 5 million after we built it.
It is a
So,
spaceship, right? You
yeah.
think?
It's
Yeah.
honestly, it's incredible.
So we had an event that was December 9th of COVID year. Okay, it started
Was that
December
the one
9th.
with Tony Robbins on it?
Could have been.
Yeah, that was my first go. That made me start network marketing. That
Good.
call.
Could have been. So December 9th was start day. We found a location for the studio, 25,000 square feet, that was not under a flight path. So it wasn't going to be loud,
Yeah.
but it was empty. It was like literally had nothing built in it at all. No air conditioning, no walls, no wiring, no anything. And we're in the middle of COVID. So we signed the lease like September 20 something of that same year.
Months before you were.
So we had
to
from
do that.
September 20 to December
December.
8th. So something like 70 days to build the whole thing. And we didn't know anything about building it.
Whoa.
Had no idea. And we thought at the beginning it was going to be like 6 million.
How does it go from 6 to 25?
Well, have you ever bought anything that was it more than you ended up thinking it was?
Daily.
Yeah. So we started with, we thought it was 6. So we sent a wire out to get the panels started, all the technology pieces started. And we got lucky because the people who finished Allegiant Stadium where the Raiders play, that whole team was available and they all came over together to help us do our studio at the same time because they had just finished. So it worked out perfect. But so I don't know anything about building. So Marina went to build the studio and I went to sell tickets. So I probably did 400 Zooms, 500 Zooms with teams over the course of those 3 months, just selling tickets. And I think we sold somewhere around 50,000 tickets at $200. So that was 10 million there. Plus we had put in 8 million on our own. We borrowed 2 million to be able to get it done. And we got our certificate of occupancy the night before the event.
Oh my
Holy shit.
Can you imagine was you like losing your marbles at that point?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Does Eric worry
I had
ever
to sell.
panic? That's the
I had to
question.
sell every day. I had to sell my way there.
Yeah.
So
Working under
but
pressure.
we had already sent the wire. We were committed. The dates were
The
done.
night before would send me into an
I
early
find
grave.
that really exciting.
Oh no, I don't.
Do you not?
I'd die. Mm-hmm.
It was the highest pressure ever.
Yeah.
And what would have happened had it not? Dare we ask?
Bankruptcy probably.
Shit.
Yeah, for sure. Because we would have lost all our money.
Yeah.
Everybody would have wanted a refund. You know,
But Eric Worre
It would have been
always
over.
makes it happen.
we made it happen.
By hook or by crook.
Yeah, it was. But it was. I never worked so hard.
Yeah.
Marina was the same. What she did was impossible. Couldn't be done again. I don't think.
Wow.
Yeah,
No,
it's crazy.
definitely not. So I want to ask you, because you're our mentor,
Hmm.
who has been the biggest impact for you as a mentor throughout your business journey?
You mentioned Gary Vee at the beginning, but have you had
Gary Vee,
like as an impact for?
Gary Vee was helpful to just
Yeah.
kind of reverse engineer how to socially connect in the vlog game. and get some more attention online. So he was helpful there. But that was 2 hours. That's all I needed. And then I took that and ran, most of it was common sense.
Yeah.
Just hard work. Jim Rohn was number one, where I started.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. This book, Leading an Inspired Life.
Imagine us doing that on
You
book
can
club.
read the
That would
inscription on that
take me
book.
6 years to do. We do a book club every week.
Oh, do you?
Yeah,
With our team.
With our
Yeah.
team. We love it. I mean,
So Jim's passed away.
Oh, look.
I know.
Oh, look, it's not. Such men's writing.
What a nice memoir, though.
Yeah, that's just a collection of his ideas.
Wow.
But he was a philosopher. I mean, very, very smart guy. And I listened to everything that he ever created. He really, really helped me.
Yeah.
So from afar. And then eventually we became friends
Mm-hmm.
and were able to work together. But I learned much more from a distance than I did up close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I had repetition.
Yeah.
I could listen to it over and over 1,000 times
Mhm.
where, you know what I mean? He's not going to come to my house 1,000 times.
Yeah.
So he never came to my house, but we were friends.
Yeah.
And I got all of it. I got the ability to get all of his wisdom for a few dollars.
Wow.
That's
So-
the beauty of a book and a podcast. And
Book
what
or
we've got
podcast,
now.
audio,
Yeah.
video, events,
Success
mentors,
leaves clues.
coaches,
Yeah, it does.
masterminds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All of those things are cheat codes.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So we speak about a tick list. We've got this thing, and like this,
Your
The
bucket
podcast.
list.
yeah, but we've done it.
Yeah.
This was done like last year. Us
Okay.
being at your house, us being part of the mastermind, us being on the podcast, it's already been done. So we're sitting here like, well, we already did that like last year. It was ticked off last year.
Mhm.
Do you believe in manifestation? Do you believe you can manifest everything in advance? Because you spoke a lot yesterday about,
Yeah, 100%.
designing your life,
Mhm.
and it's already like whatever you said yesterday, you've already done. It's already there.
Yep.
Non-negotiable. In the next 18 months, it's happened.
And it might not be in the next 18 months, but it will be.
It
Yep.
will be. I feel like we don't even think about it, do we? We're like, tick.
No, it's that making a decision. And you spoke about this yesterday, and I'd love for you to kind of talk on that a little bit more, because when you were speaking about it, we were laughing because this
just
is
like,
the way we
oh.
operate. We decide to do something, and
We just-
it doesn't matter the how or the what next. It
Right.
just matters the
do it.
decision. Yeah.
Like when I met with Gary V, it was in February of 2009. And I started March 11th. I just picked the date. It was my birthday. So I'm going to start on my birthday. So March 11th, boom. And that was the day I was going to start. I told the world I was going to start on March 11th. I didn't have any idea how I was going to do it. I had nobody to help me.
Sounds a bit like us.
I was
does.
just going to start.
We just
It
did it.
does.
Started.
When I'm going to do the event, I'm going to rent a room and I'm going to see how many people are going to show up. Just go. Like the airplane is a good example.
I love this.
I
from
love
yesterday.
You've heard
Yes.
the story.
Yes,
share
but nobody
it,
else has,
share
so
it.
do tell us.
Okay, so it sounds bougie.
we
Right.
like bougie.
We love bougie.
Just a whole lot of
Bougie's okay.
bougie over here.
Okay, so you go through stages of flying.
Mm-hmm.
Stage one is I can't afford to fly. I'm going to drive. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
or I'm not going. Stage two is what's the cheapest way I could fly? How many connections and what's the cheapest airline and how mean can I be to myself? How small can the chair be? How
Uncomfortable.
uncomfortable can it
Flying
be?
in jeans.
No, don't
How
play jeans
unreliable
ever.
can it be? How late are they normally? I mean, all of that. Are there chickens up in the
Chickens.
overhead bins? I've been on
I
planes
don't want
with
to fly with
chickens.
whichever airline that's
You've been on a plane with
Chickens for sure.
For sure.
You haven't lived until you've been on a plane with chickens. in the
I
overhead
feel like I
bin.
haven't
I'm
lived
glad.
at all.
I'm glad that I have not.
Yes. And then you say, okay, I'm going to go on at least a reputable airline.
One with two wings and a
and
real
then you start
engine.
and then you start chasing points.
Oh,
That's the next
know,
level.
We know
It's
about
points. Oh, you got to get the points. We can go on this flight and it'd be much better. No, but we don't get the points. We have to go on this one because we get better points.
I feel like we're right at the back of our plane journey.
Right. So you play the points game and you're like, oh, I got upgraded. I'm gold. I'm silver. I'm gold. I'm platinum. I'm diamond. Right. So I'm a million miler. All of these different things. And all that would normally give you is the ability to go to the terminal and look up at the screen and hope that you get upgraded. So
is this our stage of flight?
We're literally standby queen.
Yeah. So
are we getting on or are we not?
Like,
will we make it?
Please, God, I hope.
Pray to the flight gods.
How do I say are the flight gods on my side today?
Yeah, and whoever's name is in front of you, you hope that something terrible happens to them.
I'm number 2 on the list tomorrow, baby. Number 2.
They get in a car wreck on the way or something.
Silently,
so you can get upgraded.
Eric, this is our life.
Because by the time that's all passed, the only things left is middle seats in the back.
Don't
usually.
Want to sit on them. I sat on the middle seat.
I know. No fun.
No.
So, especially for long flights. So you play the game of staring at the screen. Please God. You play the game, try to be nice.
Yeah. Nothing works.
I feel like we're here. This is where we're at.
There was actually a time where there was a scam where they had stickers, and this was when they had paper tickets for airlines. They weren't all electronic. They had paper tickets that you bought ahead of time that were, that you had in your possession. You brought to the airport, and there were stickers, and you could buy. And we learned in our network, my first network marketing company.
No, we didn't.
Somebody had figured this out.
No, you didn't.
They printed out sheets of these stickers that were basically change orders to the flights. So if you were flying somewhere like Dallas all the time, if you're flying to Dallas all the time, so you buy the lowest price ticket to Dallas a year from now, a year and a half from now, at the cheapest possible.
This is
ticket.
Genius.
And then you just needed to have a red felt tip marker and the sticker, and you put the sticker over the flight and you change the flight information.
This is a life hack.
It doesn't work anymore.
No, but
back then it was golden. We flew around like crazy with our little stickers, and it worked for, I don't know, 3 or 4 years. So we had our little sticker game, to be able to get on flights for the cheapest possible price. But again, you're still sitting under the table waiting for scraps to fall off. And
will ever be
to try and eat. And
we're just tight, babe.
And you fly standby, right?
Oh, well,
sometimes
yes.
We do it when we know that we're going to get the upgrade. Otherwise, we'll just pay for the upgrade. So we're not quite under the table. We're like sat on it, but we're being a bit stingy.
It's like we're not quite eating.
I understand.
Just yet.
Yeah.
We're having like a starter.
We're just really tight.
Yeah.
That's it. I mean, we could actually pay for it, but we won't. Because why should we?
So I'll tell you my standby story. My mom worked at Delta. My mom's just in the next room.
We met her.
We met her. She's gorgeous,
isn't she?
So she worked at Delta as a gate agent. And after she worked there for so long, everybody in the family got flight benefits, including me. I could fly anywhere in the world on Delta for free. I still can.
But you don't need to.
But I mean, it's on standby.
But he's bougie.
It's on standby.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
So
it's an inconvenience
that's
if you get bumped.
stressful. Right? Having to am I going to get on? You're looking up, is there room? Is there room? Is there seats? Are there not? Oh, they just canceled that other flight.
Yeah.
Now they're moving people over. Anyway, so I had to fly from Minneapolis to Omaha, Nebraska for a 1-day thing. And the ticket was like $1,000. I said, this is crazy. $1,000. It's just like a super short flight. So I'm just going to fly standby. And the flight was wide open. So I flew standby. I fly down there. I go to my meeting. I come back to the airport, and I'm sitting at the airport, and I've never done this. Okay. So I don't know. And then this guy is at the gate, and he is so annoying. And imagine the most annoying 27-year-old guy you could think of.
He's like,
and times him by 10.
who's got like, 2 or 3 little groupies around him, and he's eating pretzels behind the counter, and he's just being annoying. Right. So I walk up to try and find out what the process is, because I don't know what the process is. I said, excuse me. He goes, what?
ooh,
And I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm a standby person. I don't know what the process is.
Help.
Do it. He said, go sit over there and wait.
I got told that. Sit there.
Sit there and wait.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, now I'm Diamond.
In
I'm a million miler.
You know who I am.
Yeah.
I'm a million miler Diamond. And I'm like, okay, this is a new experience. So he starts calling, and at standby, when they call group number 1, you're not getting on with group number 1. So he calls group number 1, and there's this old guy who's probably 95. I mean, he looks like this is his last week on earth. He gets up with a cane, and he hobbles up.
Oh, he's not been in the ice.
And he hands he hands his ticket to the gate agent, and he says, "Your group's not called yet. You're in group number 2. Go sit down." And the guy just takes his ticket back and goes and starts hobbling back, which he should have been pre-boarded anyway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I saw the guy, as soon as the old man went
Sat
to
down.
sit, as soon as his butt, he got a smile on his face. He said, "Now calling group number 2.
What dick.
And I saw red. I was so mad. I think the guy's name was Travis or something. No, it was Lance.
Sounds like
So I tweeted, or I Facebooked or something.
Oh, he's gone social. He's gone social.
And I said, Lance at gate number 27.
Oh, we called him out by
Omaha,
name as well.
in Omaha,
Ouch.
Nebraska, on Delta Airlines,
he's gone in.
is maybe the rudest person I've ever seen or ever met, and is absolutely obscenely rude. Or I just witnessed him being obscenely rude to an older gentleman, and I hope somebody's paying attention.
Call him out.
That's all I said.
Absolutely.
Okay. So I don't say anything. I want to, but I don't. I just pass my ticket. I go fly home. The next day, my mom gets called in to the office.
No. She's in trouble.
She got suspended.
No,
She
she didn't.
actually.
She got suspended
Oh my
for
God.
90 days, lost her flight benefits because I was traveling as a guest. And as a guest, that was being disrespectful.
That should be
Eric
ridiculous.
Worre.
I was so red hot. I wrote a letter. I said, "You're not paying attention to the right thing here. I'm also a million miler. I'm also a diamond. I'm also letting you know that there's somebody being extraordinarily rude to people who need help, not abuse. And I hope you're paying attention to the right thing." He said, "Yeah, that's for a different thing." But, so I sent a letter, did the whole thing, but they still suspended her.
And how long did she not speak to you for?
No, she was okay. My mom's
She's
amazing.
livid at you.
My mom was amazing. She was okay, but she quit. After the 90
Yeah.
days, she got her flight benefits reinstated. And then she said,
Left.
beat
Good
it.
for her.
So
I'm
they
done.
lifetime then, even after she's gone?
Huh? Yeah, lifetime.
Wow.
Yes.
Again, I think maybe we.
They still fly. They might not after this podcast.
It's okay. You've got a plane now. It's fine.
Yeah. They fly with
Which
us
is the next
most
step.
of the time.
Plane, the bougie
So
plane.
anyway, back to planes. So you go from doing connections to saying, "I'm not doing connections. I'm only doing
Yeah.
directs." If it's available, I'm doing direct, right? Because direct is more expensive. So I'm going to do that. And then there comes a day when you say, I will not fly economy again. I'm done.
I'm in there.
We're there.
In there.
Right?
We're definitely
It's
there.
business or
quits.
nothing.
Yep.
Or we stand at the gate for 7 days.
Right? So I'm just paying. I'm just going to do it. I don't want the stress. I'm
Yeah.
not going to stare at the monitor. I feel sorry for the other people. I walk right
Yeah.
past them. I'm going to go sit down in my seat because my seat's locked in.
And I'm going to turn it into a bed as soon as the seatbelt sign goes
Yes.
off.
Boom. Then you fly private for the first time.
That's big.
Have you flown private?
Yes.
Yes.
It's
And
something, isn't it?
I now think that I
What
should
what
be.
what plane have you flown on?
A really small one between London and Paris. I can't
Oh, just a
remember
little.
I don't
a
even
little
know
one?
the
It was
names
like
of the planes.
6-seater.
A 6-seater.
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
been in a big one.
Yeah.
A couple of big ones.
Yeah. So anyway, we flew. I don't know. 10 years ago, first time. It wasn't my first time ever, but Marina and I flew, and we went, "Oh, this is really nice.
Mhm.
We should do this." And our friend had a 6-seat jet. That nice jet, beautiful, amazing. We take off. This is like
You
unbelievable.
can't stand up in a 6-seater jet.
No, they're
though, can
very
you?
small.
You can.
Aren't they?
Can you?
Yeah, and this one you could.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not one of those tiny
Yeah.
Not the
little
ones-
Lears. The little
Learjet.
Lears.
It was
Fam-
the
what they got the
Learjet.
Phantom.
The little Lears are-
Phenom. The
Phenom.
Phenom.
The Phenoms.
Yeah.
600.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, those are yeah.
You have to push them.
You have
get
to
them
push
off the
them
ground.
Yeah.
They go like that.
Pull the prop.
They need to run up
So-
before they go anywhere.
So we flew on that. That was great.
Still bougie.
But and then we asked if we could buy hours because he owned it. Our neighbor owned it. Could we buy hours? How much for an hour? And he said $2,000 an hour, flight hour.
Yep.
So okay, it's seat 6.
That's cheap.
So
not
we
bad.
yeah, he gave us a great deal.
Yeah.
So we bought 25 hours at a time.
Yep.
So we give him $50,000. He give us 25 hours. We use them when we need to, when he
Mhm.
wasn't using it, and and that was our next step. And then we were just like,
Became accustomed to it.
I was sitting with a friend. No, it wasn't that. I was sitting with a friend who said, I'm flying to such and such a place and I'm chartering a plane. I said, really? What? Wow, that's crazy. He said, yeah, a friend of mine runs this charter company in Las Vegas, and people buy planes and they put those planes with the charter company, and the charter company charters the planes, and the owners end up essentially being able to fly for the price of gas because the charter covers the rest.
Tick.
Add it to the list,
Add it to
baby.
the
Right?
list.
So I was just like, I didn't ever think that could be possible, but I opened up my brain to say, I'm going to, can you introduce me to this person? So he introduced me to the owner, and the owner explained how it all worked. So I'm like, okay. So we start investigating planes, and we found a Hawker
Yeah.
900,
Mm-hmm.
seats 9. It can go, coast to coast, can go Seattle to Miami with that nonstop. So we decided to buy a Hawker, and we ended up buying half of the Hawker and half of the other smaller jet, the 9-seater and our neighbors, and they bought the other half of those two.
Why get one when you can have
So-
two?
Exactly.
So we both had flexibility, shorter
Yeah.
flights, longer flights,
Mhm.
that kind of stuff. And we did that for like 3 years. But we always had on our minds this,
I mean, she's a beauty, isn't she? Look at her.
this.
And can we just say about what can you only see if you are in the plane? There are words that you can only see. Bad ass.
On the,
Yes.
on the, yeah, on the,
On the
If you get a picture of that, you are in the plane.
yeah,
On the
yeah.
plane, in the plane.
So this seats 18 people, sleep 6. And it was just on our goals, and something that we wanted to do. So we sold our the smaller jet completely. We sold our other half to our friends of the Hawker. We upgraded to this, and other than getting a newer one, I can't imagine needing
No.
anything more than this. This goes 13 hours, nonstop anywhere.
And
It's
we're
great.
all going to Cabo on it.
Yeah,
Ah.
yeah.
We are.
Oh,
So the lesson here is there's levels.
Mm-hmm.
And there's lessons. If you give yourself permission to open up your mind to the possibility, then it can become real.
Yeah. And you spoke a bit
And
about
we did
that.
it before we were ready.
Yeah.
I mean, we weren't ready for this. I mean, a person who owns a Gulfstream 550 is usually worth the person who owned this was the founder of Netflix.
No.
Really?
Yeah.
That's incredible. And you spoke about this yesterday, and I'd just like you to touch on it a little bit more, because I wrote this down yesterday, but it's give yourself a permission to live a big life. And most people just can't even unlock that side of the brains, and that's where the problem lies, isn't it?
Yeah. Until you give yourself permission, then you're never going to go there. Just imagine it. Because then that's going to open up. Because if I didn't give myself permission to start down that road, the conversation I had with my friend would have gone nowhere.
Never have happened.
Which I wouldn't have asked for the introduction.
Yeah.
Which I wouldn't have, which I wouldn't have. I just in the last 10 days flew 22,000 miles.
You're in my
on that
hometown.
I can't believe you were in like Leah's hometown.
Yeah.
And we flew 10 and a half hours to Vegas to see you.
I know. You guys should have
We
jumped
could have
on.
just hooked up over there, couldn't we?
You didn't tell us. That would have been
Didn't tell
miles
us we were
easier
there.
than
You-
standby.
You could have been on
been-
our jet with the cardboard
piece of cake.
cardboard engine. We could have treated you.
Yeah.
And finally,
Yeah.
last question. What are your top tips to anybody who is listening to this, who is like, maybe I want to do what the girls do. Maybe I want to be sitting at that table. For anybody starting out in network marketing, what would your top 3 tips be? It's tough, right? Because there's so many. You could like,
So
no.
many.
Number one tip is forget about the money and just learn the skills.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you learn the skills, the money will come.
Mm-hmm.
If you're focused on luck, it's going to be a tough road because you have to keep getting lucky. If you become skilled at this, and you can,
Yeah.
anybody listening to this can learn this business, no matter where you come from, no matter what your background, no matter how many times you failed,
Yeah.
no matter if you're pretty or ugly or fat or skinny or tall or short, old or young, it doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is if you're willing, right?
Coachable,
Coachable.
and hungry.
Hungry?
And hungry.
Mm-hmm.
And you develop those skills. And the skills are not hard to learn.
They're not. But people overcomplicate that part, don't they?
Yeah. So the skills are number one.
Mhm.
Number two, have urgency, but with patience.
Ooh,
You know,
Ooh,
I
I
need
like
to
that.
write that down.
it's hard. It's really hard to want to have something right away, but then also be patient with yourself.
Aggressive patience.
Yeah.
Somebody else says, don't they?
I like
They
that.
use the word aggressive patience. Be aggressive, but be patient.
Yeah. It's going to take some time.
Yeah.
It took me like 3 years before I felt like I was reasonably competent
Yeah.
at this. Like I was a semi-leader. 3 years.
So what?
So, I mean, how long did it take you?
I feel like maybe 2 years
Yeah.
for me to be a decent leader. Look,
Yeah.
and I'm still growing now.
Yeah,
as
how
are
about
So
you?
you're like, well, I was longer. I don't think I even became a leader until last year.
Which
I
is,
w-
so how long? How many years then?
4 years in.
4 years in.
Yeah,
So I mean
was
that's
very
kind
much
of
my own
normal.
little lane doing my
So
thing.
in the meantime, we're all anxious all the time
Yeah.
because we got to get that next rank, and we're trying to
Yeah.
qualify for the trip, and we're trying
Me,
to
me, 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 me,
make
me,
some
me, me,
money,
me.
and
Yeah.
we're trying to level up, and it's all stressful. You're beating these bosses, going up level
Yep.
by level by level.
We are certainly doing that.
Right? Doing all that stuff. So have that urgency because, success loves speed.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to do it, faster is always easier.
Yeah.
But be patient with yourself. Be kind. Every once in a
Yeah.
while, just breathe and be nice to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Because we can be kind of tough on ourselves. I thought there was something wrong with me my first 3.5 years. It's just like other people are saying, and if you compare yourself, here's what they say: comparison's the thief of joy. You've heard that
Yeah.
phrase.
Yeah.
My view on comparison is, for me, comparison today is very needed. I need to compare myself to people who are doing more than me. I need somebody to piss me off.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody doing big things.
Somebody to piss you off.
Yeah.
I do
You know what I
agree
mean?
with that. Yeah.
But early in the game, there were times when you'd watch somebody else just run by you like you're standing still
Yeah.
and feel like you're dirt on the bottom of their shoe. And if you compare yourself to that, so it's not quite so useful. So what I say is if it's useful, compare yourself. If it's hurtful, then just compare yourself to you.
Yeah.
Be a better version of you. Right. So try not to compare yourself if it's painful, but if you find somebody that's a good, like, example for you, you say, you know, and you strip the humanity off and you realize that they're a real person and you go, okay, that's a real person. And if they're a real person and they can do it, then I can do it.
Yeah.
Or find somebody from your background that did it and model what they did. I just copied everybody.
Yeah.
I didn't have an original thought for like 5 years.
You don't need it though in this industry, do you?
It's a big game of follow the leader.
Yeah. But make sure you're following the right person.
The
Yes.
right leader.
You know, make sure you're
Yes.
using the right words. Make sure you know. And then the third thing is it's a little bit more complicated, but it's a take on the scientific method, which is 3 words that changed my life, which was called plan, do, review.
Yeah. We love that.
If you make a plan on any part of your skills or any part of your business, you do it, then you review it, what worked, what didn't, use that feedback to make a better plan, do it, review it, make a better plan, do it, review it. That causes you to get better and better and better. And eventually you'll become world-class if you just keep leaning on that plan, do, review. So that would be probably the final one that I do that every day. I plan to review the last 2 days, what we did in the mastermind.
Fabulous, by the way. Absolutely fabulous.
Plan to review workouts. I plan to review trips. I plan to review everything, everything that I'm doing, every aspect of my life. I plan to review almost immediately. It's a reflex now.
Yeah.
And it's the reason why I was able to go from minimum wage, 18 jobs, barely escaping high school, to where I am is I learned the skills. I let go of luck. I had urgency. I was very ambitious, but I learned to be kind to myself and have patience. I only compared myself to people when it was useful, and I didn't when it wasn't. I would also say you need to stop giving a shit about what other people think. Because they're not that important in your life. You're the star of the movie. Dana White, who's also a friend who runs the UFC, the thing I admire about him the most is he does not give 2 shits about any critic at all. Somebody doesn't like what he has to say, he will tell them to go F themselves.
Yeah.
And without batting an eye.
Yeah.
I love that about him. I just love it that he's just willing to be who he is. And and unless you're his family, he doesn't care.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
You know, I wish I had that thick of skin. I don't, but I'd love to. So that, and then plan to review. I think those are where I would leave it. And there's a longer list, but that's some things
They're
to start
the
with.
basics that aren't so basic. Thank you so much, Eric Worre. That was incredible.
Thank
You're
you.
very
thank
welcome.
you.
I'm the very first, we're not in the cardboard.
No, but you've given us an idea though. So
Yeah, maybe we'll do it when we go to Cabo.
yeah.
Brilliant.
The recap.
Bring
We'll do
some-
the plan, do review on
We'll
the
bring some
plane.
microphones.
Down.
Bring some
Microphones and
microphones.
vodka. There we go.
Yes.
We're done.
Yeah.
Thank
Lots
you so
of
much.
cocktails, quick trip,
Yeah.
and then stay at a villa down there with a whole bunch of friends.
Really small villa.
Now we've just got to win the incentive.
We've done it.
We've
Tick.
done it.
It's tick. It's done. That's what you should call your podcast. Tick.
It's
Tick,
done.
it's done. It's the tagline. Thank
Yeah.
you.
So
Well,
much.
congratulations,
Thank
both of you, on your success. I know you're just getting started.
We are. Thank you, Eric.
Thank you for letting me be your first guest.
It was only ever.
I hope you don't have to delete it,
No,
you know,
I
and
won't.
start off with somebody more interesting.
It's all uphill from here now.
Okay.
Mark's next.
All uphill.
Get Mark on the phone.
Yeah, I am going to text him and tell him, you know, these girls desperately need you on their podcast.
Need.
We'll see what he says.
Thank you. We
We have to
appreciate
have
you.
him take his shirt off and do the Marky Mark.
Well,
if he has to.
If it's his thing, all right.
Let him do what he
whatever.
Okay. I'm gonna
Whatever.
hold it
Oh,
again.
thank you so much.
It's my pleasure.
Thank
Oh,
you.
Mwah.
good stuff.
Mwah.
So thank you, Eric, so much. That was absolutely amazing. Join us next week where will we be next week?
I think we'll be
Where
back
are we
on
flying to next week?
I think we'll be back in our plane.
We'll be back on the plane. Meet us there.
Thanks, guys.